Hello and welcome to the Learn How to See Better podcast, the only podcast out there known to actually improve your vision the longer you listen. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I'm glad you've joined me here today. I can't wait to share some great information with you about how to improve your health, wealth, and relationships. So let's get right down to it, shall we? Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Drew, and I appreciate you joining me today because today's a special day to me, and I want to spend it with you all sharing a few thoughts about the passing of time. You see, the basis for today's discussion is rooted in the fact that it is my firstborn son's 6th birthday today. Pretty cool, right? Woo woo, happy birthday. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So here's what's pretty cool about that is you've heard me talk about some of the different ways we learn how to see better, whether it's evaluating your vision, whether it's reflection, whether it's introspection, whether it's unlearning and relearning, whether it's expansion of the mind frame, right? I think that in this particular case, it's a great opportunity for reflection and just the simple fact that 6 years is a decent chunk of time. It's not quite a decade, but it's a little bit longer than high school, right? And it's a long enough window of time where we can assess things from a certain standpoint, a certain perspective that gives us a feel for quite a degree of change. And for me, it is actually so rewarding to be able to see the benefits from that continued investment in love and affection towards my child, and seeing how the things that are important to me and my wife that we've invested in our child have kind of come to fruition. We see that the apple really doesn't fall far from the tree, and this little guy is a spitting image of me, Drew 2.0. It's beautiful. And but at the same time, it's crazy to think that as I look back 6 years, my life was a lot different 6 years ago. And as I reflect, I'm fortunate, but also scratching my head to think that, I might have been on the right track, but there were just so many things that I can see now clearly that were maybe missing back then. I had a lot more stress in my life 6 years ago than I do today. I didn't eat very well 6 years ago compared to today. I was overworked and underpaid 6 years ago compared to today. Just so many different areas of life, the different outlooks we have on what's possible are a lot more expansive now than they were 6 years ago. And it's not like things were bad necessarily 6 years ago, but I think that as we look at the passing of time, that's really the subject at the meat of today's talk, is the passing of time, and how we handle it is critical to some of the ways that we operate as we look forward into the future. Because if you see the passing of time in a way that's dreadful or depressing because there's not a whole lot that's been happening, then it's understandable that you won't look forward to the next, say, 5-10 years, because based on your track record, you might not be lined up to be doing a whole lot, right? I mean, we all know somebody that you look at their life now and you look at their life 10 years ago, or for some of us, we look at our own lives now and look at our lives 10 years ago and see that, there's not been a whole lot of change. Now, if your life is just great and perfect and you're already living the life of your dreams, good for you. Hopefully you are continuing to enjoy that, and maybe even doing a little bit of give back to the world and teaching others how to live that perfect or close to perfect life that you have already managed to achieve. But for all the rest of us, it would seem that there's something for us to keep striving for and keep working towards, because we might have some goals and aspirations that are still currently unmet. And although, I've got a strong belief that we can kind of design the life of our dreams and live a taste of it today, and the way that we think and operate, because it all starts and begins in the mind. I think that when we look at the passing of time, we have to have a very positive outlook. You've probably already heard me say before, positive outlook, positive outcome. right? You have to have an outlook on the things that are going to happen to you and the way you're going to create opportunity for yourself to be positive. And that's what's going to fuel the likelihood of a positive outcome. You're just putting that good vibe into the atmosphere. And that's part of it. That really is part of it. Not everybody's all the way tuned into that frequency, so to speak, but inspect what you expect is something I'm also known to say. Inspect what you expect, and you're going to be a lot more likely to be able to achieve that output that you're seeking, right? If you go into it eyes wide open, that's going to be one of the things to help set you up for success. So when it comes to the passing of time, I think it's important to understand that there's a certain course of nature that we all have to respect, right? There's the changing of the seasons. It's April right now. Weather's great in Arizona, but you know what? Before you know it, it's going to be triple digits, and we're going to have possibly triple digit stretch of it. It's one of those things that everyone around the nation will say, or around the world, it's so hot there. Oh, how do you endure it? Well, we've been enjoying paradise. Now we're just going to be paying the taxes on paradise for a little while. But it's understanding that passing of time, and that with the natural change of the seasons, not just from a weather sense, but in the seasons of life, that help us to develop a certain sense of patience for how your world is going to kind of operate. So I think that when you really break down the passing of time, there's the part of it that's unique to you and everything that you're individually going through. And then there's the component that's related to whatever part of a bigger picture that you're tied into. If you're a student going to school right now, there's the passing of time associated with the different semesters. There's from parenthood, the passing of time, as I'm discussing here, right? I've got a 6-year-old son. All of a sudden, I look back to what life was like 6 years ago and having a newborn son. And then now I look back to a month ago and bringing new life into the world and having a brand new newborn son again now at 40 years of age, right? So it's interesting to see how the passing of time, number one, what it can feel like, and number two, how it can change your perspective, because you see the world differently. I was a lot different. I was a different person. I feel like I'm the same, but the same way, in the same instance, I have different viewpoints based on my experience, because it's really our experience that helps to set our perceptual filters on how we view the world. It's our perceptual lenses on how we view the world. So as we look at the passing of time, we got to know that from time to time, our viewpoints can get cluttered, especially if there's a lot of noise in our area, a lot of noise in our atmosphere. So we have to be alert and stay at the ready and stand guard at the door of our mind to make sure that we're not getting our filters altered inappropriately, and that we're seeing experiences through the right set of filters that are also going to enable us to make the right decisions, because again, with the passing of time, gives the great ability of the compound effect to really weigh in and demonstrate its power. And so if you understand that, and you respect the passing of time, and know and understand that certain elements of life take time to develop, understanding and respecting the passing of time with the birth of a new child, understanding the passing of time with healing from pain in your world, from maybe a damaged or an ended relationship, understanding the passing of the time with physical healing over an injury, as an example, and understanding the passing of time as it particularly pertains to your growth and development as you look to build and enhance a current skill set or a brand new skill set. Know that it's going to take just banging your head against the wall to figure out why a certain concept won't click so fluently and so naturally as it does to others you've seen around you that might be a little bit further ahead in this journey than you are. So if you understand that passing of time is just a component that is tied into the natural cycle of things that you can't rush, but also time won't wait for you, as we all know. So I think that can help us to regulate our feelings and our emotions in many senses if we're just mature, about understanding the passing of time, that it's not waiting for you. So we all need to operate with a sense of urgency, because lack of respect for time can penalize and punish you in ways that can be hard to see, but can certainly be felt in your pocketbook and in other ways. So when you look at the passing of time as something that can be used as a tool to serve you and sit on the other side of that coin, you can be the recipient of the benefits of the passing of time. Whether it's from a family standpoint, just being able to be the parent that's very involved and engaged in the family life and watching their children rise and grow and develop, that's an amazing reward or benefit of being tuned into the passing of time. The same way when you're consistently investing in your education or building a business, or more importantly, building an important relationship, seeing what 6 years can do for the enhancement of any of those things in your world. So when you're tuned in to what the passing of time can do for you, or the way it can penalize you, you'll understand certain lessons such as discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. Okay? So you can use the passing of time to your advantage, because it can allow you and afford you the opportunity to plan your action wisely, to continually remind yourself that these investments, little by little, will pay off and begin to serve you. So the passing of time, I can't drill it home enough. That's something that I really want to make known, that is an important element, that if we have a solid respect and understanding, it can help to manipulate, engage, and guide our expectations on certain outcomes in the world. You can't just, fellas, you can't just expect to do 10 sets of 10 push-ups for a total of 100 and expect to be swole in 2 days, right? There's more investment associated with that. And so the passing of time and that continued compound effect of that effort over time will yield massive results that get you exactly that same thing. But it is the passing of time that must be adhered to and respected so that we can use it to our advantage, because the wealthy mind will collapse time frames to be able to accomplish more with less, while the lackful, scarcity, poor mindset will expand time frames and delay and set excuses for reasons why certain things can't be attempted or accomplished. So it's a complete different flip of the mindset that has to be really driven home here, and I'm hoping that's been the case here with this post, with this sharing of thought. So there you have it. Thank you for your attention. And that was just something I wanted to share with everyone so that you don't lose track of it. We're in the second quarter of the year already. How's everybody doing with those New Year's resolutions? 90 days ago, we were go get them. But let's not lose that momentum as we push into the spring and look to achieve all the goals that we have set out for this year. Hopefully everyone has a good day as they soak this in and look to assess their own situation and make positive moves forward for the rest of the year. Thanks. See ya. Well, all right. That was some great content, wasn't it? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I want to thank you for listening to the Learn How to See Better podcast today. And don't forget to subscribe and tune in for future episodes, and be sure to share with a friend if you are enjoying this content. Thanks, and see you next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.